Great. Okay. So we are going to have some fun tonight. And my name is Jen Walker, certified Optavia coach. And I have the topic tonight to talk about consistency. And consistency for me is like where it's all really at. Because I feel like we could all probably white knuckle it and do it for a day, right? These health things that you eat a salad and think you're like at your health goals, but really consistency is the game. And that game is played right here. And I've been listening to some amazing things that have really got me thinking about, like, I just love to listen to things and then apply everything to what I'm doing. That's what we do. That's how we learn. That's how we differentiate. So I want you to think of the anxieties that you have maybe perhaps felt when you started a new habit. And it's like, okay, you're like starting to feel a little bit anxious about how long you've done it. And are you feeling restricted in your current reality with that? I want you to really think about that question. Are you feeling restricted? Okay. So there was an experiment done, and I bet you guys have heard of it, but I just had never thought of it in this way. So there was an experiment done with kittens, and it was like these kittens were placed in a plexiglass tube, and there were lines that were circular, so there were no jagged edges. And these kittens that before 5 months, they did this at first it was complete pitch dark. Then they introduced them into these places, and they wanted to see what happened with the kittens and their brain and how they would experience life. So they did two different groups. One cat group did that. The other cat had horizontal. So one vertical, one horizontal. And what they found was pretty amazing, that it really did affect the world that they had found that they had lived in. And our minds organize ourselves in an experience. And you can look at your life, think about where you've come from, and how have you oriented yourself into the experience that you have. And when you think about the consistency factor, we have to factor in that not our current reality is only described by the circumstance that we have found because of all the outside pieces that fit together, if that makes sense. So a lot of times our brain, when we are trying to do something new, is going to be evaluating whether this will keep us safe. And, it's not going to want to, your brain will say, no, we don't want to be deprived. We don't want change because we want to stay safe. And so when you're experiencing strong emotions, that a lot of times in our culture, we turn to food or we distract ourselves from the emotion. And your brain is mastering the world that you grew up in. Your brain, it places you within the limitations that you have. Okay. So I was asking you if you had felt that you were restricted in your current reality. And maybe that's why we're working on our health goals, so that we have more energy. Maybe we're restricted with that. Maybe we're restricted from wearing the clothes that we want, or maybe going to the bathroom in the airplane, like was described last week. There's a lot of ways that we can feel restricted in our health. And maybe I want you to think of, we have to get to the place, if we want change, to be able to be more self-aware. And one of my favorite books, if you don't have it, we're doing the challenge. And I would encourage you, it is absolutely not too late to get the Life book. You guys, it's going to change things for you. Our program is built off of this and four total components. And this is one of them, is the education piece. And Dr. A in element 4, he says, on page 108, it starts with self-awareness. It's really important to understand that if you're unaware that you are operating at a subconscious level and making choices that are not in your own best interest, then you cannot improve. So it says as well, secondly, you absolutely need to decide that you're going to take responsibility for your behavior and your results. This is very different from placing blame or responsibility on something or someone outside of your control. So I'm trying to see what time it is. So within this, the areas where our minds are stuck is the way to move towards discomfort. And it's the worst, right? Put a 1 in the chat if you've experienced this. and it's uncomfortable. And it's the way that our human mind and our souls can expand ourselves. And that's where we will find the freedom, the expansion of being able to create the life that we really want, to have the freedoms to go to the bathroom on the airplane, or to run with our kids, or to get up and off the ground and on the ground with your grandkids. It gives you the ability to have the life that you really want. So I have another study that's really cool, but I'm not going to share it. I'll do it another time. What I would love to do is have you guys, we were talking about the habit of consistency for anybody who hopped on late, and acclimating yourself into having more tolerance for the anxiety. And that's what's going to build your muscle of your mindset. So I want to encourage you guys to read element number 4. It's one of my favorites in Dr. A's life book. And let's come off and share our wins of the week. If you have, like, I don't care what they are, but it would be fun if you guys have found any mindset shifts that are wins for you and have those to share with us. So go ahead and come off and we will hear what those are for you guys. Oh, by the way, I didn't tell you, the kittens, I didn't even finish the story, you guys. The kittens, after they were in the in the surroundings, the experiment, the cats would start walking, the ones that saw horizontal lines, and then they would run into the legs of the tables or any of the chairs. They would run into it. Their brain was disoriented. And then the other group of kittens that were experiencing the other line version, they wouldn't step, like if they saw stairs, they wouldn't see them and they would just fall down them. So what that was saying is that the circumstance of where we live can alter our abilities to function in the world. And they did, after 5 months, it was possible to create neural pathways for their brains and be able to change and fix that, but it wouldn't have gotten fixed without intention. Okay, go ahead and share your wins. Let's hear from somebody new. If you haven't shared before, today's your day to be brave. Is silence killing you? It's you. You're supposed to come off mute. Come on.
Jen, I'll share when someone new gets up the courage, because I know it does take courage sometimes to come off mute. It's interesting. You were talking about consistency, right? And I feel like my biggest wins are just overall looking at building that consistency and what does that look like and how do you do it, right? And for me, my big focus, obviously nutrition, but it's been really the exercise piece. And I have gotten my head for so long that I have fallen backwards so much from an exercise standpoint and lost muscle mass and just kind of like I'm so far behind, like it's going to take forever to catch up. And then I realized okay, wait a second. I just have to start stacking some wins so that I can build that consistency. So it started as small as okay, I made a commitment to work out for 5 days. I did day 1. That was a win. Then day 2, it was 2 days, right? And so that constant stacking. And now after I don't even know what week we're on, because now it doesn't even matter, because I'm I can't wait to work out, because now I'm starting to see my body change. And I'm how cool when you can just start to be okay, what are the little wins, and have those stack on top of each other and build the consistency, and then build that, you're not white knuckling, right? You're I see results. I'm excited. I can actually do it. That was stupid stories that I was telling myself, and now I'm seeing success.
I love that, Heather. Love it. Who else can share a win and build that muscle?
It looks like Baleen is raising her hand. Go ahead,
Okay.
Baleen.
Hi,
Perfect.
you can hear me?
Yes.
Okay, so I have a couple wins. I took a long summer break off my business, and today I jumped back in, and I'm feeling pretty pumped about that because I'm having responses from people that never responded before. And my other big win is locally at the gym. He did an 8-week challenge where he does this cool little scan thing that you stand on the metal things and it does the scan for your body. And I won. I was very excited about that. And it's because I was building muscle and I lost a little bit of weight, but I was really pumped about that. So I won there.
Bailey, that's so fun. Over the years, we've done different challenges, and it's like people who do our health challenges seem to always have an edge on other people. So that's really awesome. Really cool, Bailey. And thanks so much for sharing. That's motivating too. Who else has a win to share?
Go ahead, Barbara.
Okay. I'm not totally new, but this is my 6th week. I got into this 2 weeks after you guys started, but I posted my physical win in the comments, but I just have to say this morning, I felt so good, so healthy, so good in my clothes. And I was pity-patting around the house here instead of crawling around like an old lady. And I down at the senior center, we have Tai Chi on Mondays and Wednesdays. And I was telling them, I feel like I'm only 65 and I'm 77. I just felt so good. Part of my wins in the past was getting off of metformin and getting off of one of my blood pressure medications. The student nurses were there from UVU, did my blood sugar, did my blood pressure and all that. And it was all low normal. Everything was low normal. I'm just so happy.
Those are so exciting. And one of the things I love about our community is that you can share it, and we really are excited for you. Like, not everybody cares necessarily sometimes about our details of our health, but those are huge wins and we know what it takes. And that is such a big deal. So thanks so much for sharing that. Who else would like to share either something you learned? It could be that too.
I'll go. So my win of the week is over the weekend we were up at Bear Lake because my husband is installing lights on our pickleball court, and I was in a different cabin all by myself, and I could have cheated, but I didn't cheat, and I stayed on plan. And when I weighed this morning, I was the same. So that was great. That was a win. But my biggest win is being able to ride my recumbent exercise bike for 30 minutes at a level 3 for the whole 30 minutes. And I've never been able to do that before. So sorry about the croaky voice. But anyway, so that's my 2 wins of the week.
That's an awesome, both of them are really a big deal. And I think that if we aren't conscious and aware of those wins that we have, like, it really perpetuates your brain to look for more ways that you can win. And honestly, in this show up challenge, I thought to myself a couple times, when I post something about showing up, it helps me literally think about it more throughout my day as well. So those were so great. Thanks for sharing those. Okay, anybody else want to share?
I'll share, Jen.
Great.
One thing that I love about this program is the community, and I have grown a huge love and appreciation of community. Heather mentioned her exercise that she's been adding slowly. Heather also posts that on her stories that she got up and she showed up, and that motivates me. I'm like, okay, it's been months since, I've worked out, and watching other people do it and struggle to do it is so motivating for me. And that's been a huge part of my life, to exercise. And so I think, okay, I can do this. I can do this. I can show up, and it's just so helpful to have other people doing it too. And just seeing them do it is so inspiring.
Awesome. That was so good, Sarah. Yeah, we do totally inspire each other, and it makes it more fun. Like, I think fun is a really important part of our health journey, because when we get so stuck into I gotta do something, or like that need to, it really kind of ruins it. It just makes it feel so heavy. So let's see, is there anybody else who wants to share?
I can share it.
Oh, great. Yes, please.
So, so I can't believe I'm actually going to admit this, but so this year has been a really, really difficult year for me, not just with my health, but also with my business. It both have suffered quite a bit. What was going on is, as I was dealing with a lot of these things, a lot of my old habits were coming back, and I was kind of, just settling back into the comfort zone, because it just kind of made me feel good. I didn't want to really deal with, the mindset, didn't want to deal with that my business was failing. I didn't want to deal with that my health was failing as well, and I was gaining weight. So I just kept, slipping back into my comfort zone. And this is a part that it actually was going on for a few months. And in the last couple of weeks, I kind of figured out, just kind of reflecting back on this, is there was a growing resentment, almost like a hatred towards Optavia. And I can't believe I'm admitting this, but that is where I was. I really was getting in a really, like, I was kind of like getting irritated with Optavia, and I didn't understand it at the time. And now, like I said, last couple of weeks, I've had time to, since I've been kind of improving on my health and, getting to work on my business, my mind shifted from my comfort zone to get back into that, being uncomfortable. And the reason why I was developing this hatred towards Optavia was it was pulling me out of my comfort zone. And the more I kept, resisting, the more that hatred was growing. And I didn't realize it at the time. And now that I look back, the one thing I am grateful for is, with Brenda and Lori, and, even with Amber and Jared, and, people always been preaching about this, is show up. Just keep showing up. And I would show up for the trainings. I would show up for Wednesday night webinars, and just listening and, just getting the message. I would, even though I was just kind of didn't want to really do much, I would just, keep posting on Facebook, and, just kept on that journey to just keep pushing myself. And I realized that hatred I was growing for Optavia was the obstacle that was pulling me out of my comfort zone. And once I made that realization, and this is the one thing I will be always grateful for with Optavia, is this is something I've learned, is when you're going through a difficult time, in the past, I always looked at it as being a victim, that something was happening to me. But now I'm starting to understand that I can actually, what can I learn from that? And what did I learn from that experience of why I was, getting this animosity, is because Optavia was the way. It was pulling me out of that comfort zone. And I'm really grateful for that. And I feel like, in the last couple of weeks, I've made that shift towards, again, growing my health and growing my business. I feel very, very grateful for that. So thank you.
One thing I love is that you were probably feeling uncomfortable sharing that, and the ability to share that literally connects us to you, and that nobody's here thinking anything negative of you, more so that we love you and that we're grateful for you being willing to feel uncomfortable in sharing that. Because I think psychologically, I'm not Jen Oxford, but I think there's this differentiate, like that you can, when something hard happens, a lot of times you'll use an outside source to blame so that you don't have to do that growth. And you figured that out. That's what you saw yourself, which is so powerful. So here's one quote and we'll wrap up. There's no growth in your comfort zone and no comfort in your growth zone. So completely valuable, every one of you, whether you shared or whether you didn't. And thank you for joining. It caused synergy for us. And we are so grateful for everyone. Thank you.